Yes, hello everyone. Now in the last video I talked about pricing and offers, but there are a couple of things we need to talk about so business can continue to be conducted seamlessly. I've talked a lot in previous videos about net rates and commissionable rates, which you as a supplier set. However, and apologies if you already know this, I'm just going to quickly explain the differences between these two types of tour operator payments. And for the second part of this short video, I'll be covering the new tour operator contract inclusions, which are required by suppliers to explain their stance on the COVID-19 policies. So on to the first part of this video, which is the difference between a net rate and a commissionable rate. And these are payments so tour operators and travel companies can successfully sell your product. Now remember, as a supplier, you set the rates, you set the contract, but it is a two-way deal. So we want to make the contract as straightforward as possible for tour operators to understand, which will allow them to sell you quicker. We don't need, which we have seen in the past, excuse me, a 10-page contract. We work with some fantastic golf products around the world that really work with many tour operators that have a 2-page tour operator contract, so it doesn't have to be complicated and it does give you the security you need. So firstly, we'll look at commissionable rates. This means that the golf club or hotel is booked at the rack rate. Now the rack rate is the rate you publish on your website, and then the travel company receives, very simply, receives a commission paid back to them from you. So that's quite a straightforward way, and it is fairly popular. Alternatively, net rates is probably more popular. And when you offer a net rate, it just means your property is booked at a rate with the commission already deducted from the prices. So rack rate and minus 20%. And 20%, which I've said in previous videos, is the kind of go-to net rate figure, commissionable figure for tour operators. So it is the rack rate minus 20%. And these rates are completely confidential, so the consumer doesn't see these rates. It just allows tour operators to be able to create packages, play around with the pricing a little bit, so they can come up with deals that they can sell to their customers. And remember, it should be the 20%. And you know, which I've said in previous videos, commissions are only paid to golf tour operators that deliver you business. So it could be 30%, you know, and if they're not sending you any business, you're not having to pay any commissions. But this is a really good mechanism. So 20% is a minimum, either net rate or commissionable rate. Okay, so that's the first part out of the way. Now we move on to what you should consider adding into tour operator contracts in light of the current pandemic. The primary focus now is to help tour operators close business and sell holidays, and they can do that with a revised supplier contract, which you will have to do as a supplier. You may have already been in contact with some tour operators already, and there does seem to be momentum that they will only work, tour operators will only sometimes now work with suppliers if they do have these revised COVID-19 conditions in. And you know, it does actually protect you as a supplier as well. And ultimately it just allows the tour operator to sell you more freely, and it also fosters trust between the tour operator and the supplier as well. If we look at contracts in general, we look at 100 supplier contracts, probably all of those 100 will have a force majeure paragraph in there, but not one will talk about a virus, a pandemic, so it really does have to change. This is a global illness and it should be added into all future contracts which are drawn up by the supplier. If you do already have a contract in place, it will just be an addendum for winter this year or 2021. And we are kind of working out because in terms of cancellation, it can't just be one cancellation. There could be a multitude of reasons for the pandemic. It could be they couldn't get on the plane because the airline stopped flying in, or there was a problem, somebody had it on the plane. The golf course is closed, the hotel is closed, the destination is closed, or there are some restrictions. So there could be between 3 and 6 reasons why inclusions into the contract. So this isn't a finished video, so once we do kind of know what are the specific reasons going to be, we will let you know. We will update this video in due course, so we expect it probably in the next couple of weeks. So that's that for this video. It's fairly short, but it kind of just focuses on tour operator contracts, but obviously the need to revise the COVID-19 stance for suppliers. We will be updating this video in the next couple of weeks with the new revisions. Next week, or next time, sorry, we're going to be talking about golf packages, and if you can set up a golf package within a consortium that you're in, then the reasons to do so. So thank you very much for listening once again, and see you on the next video.